Anna Karenina! Full book review! Let's get this started with full book review. Anna Karenina itself is one of the most, I wouldn't say necessary world literature classics that you have to read, but it's more on the sense of like you have to go ahead and read it out of obligation for our Leo Tolstoy. Leo Tolstoy himself being one of the best authors of fiction himself. He himself stated that this was not a Western literature. Russians, Eastern literature had to be written a little bit differently. They have to go ahead and do things differently. They have to go ahead and have a different style of their own plot. There's no plot as in the sense of you understand everything that's going on, but you need a complicated web of thoughts that goes ahead and triggers your thought process. Go ahead and think about it yourself. You can go ahead and think about everything that's happening within this book, and you can go ahead and make connections between these two people, Anna Karenina and Levin more specifically. Anna Karenina and Levin themselves go ahead and go on two different paths of romantic love stories. They go ahead and have different paths in the sense of, hey, I want to do this, and oi, I want to do that too. And it works out fine for a little bit, but in the end, this doesn't exactly do the best shot for them. They do this out of obligation for themselves. They don't do this for, the best thing ever. They go ahead and take these pursuits to the next level. Anna Karenina, especially Anna herself, goes ahead and pursues in this romantic love a lot, mainly because she herself is married with a very bad husband, which I have drawn accordingly here. He looks exactly like this. No, of course I'm joking. He doesn't look anything like that, but he probably looks something like this. And then he goes ahead and they have these kids. They have one kid, her son, and then she really loves her son. The only reason why she's still within this marriage is because of her love for all this, for her son. So what do you think about Anna Karenina? These two people have went ahead and went to do different ways. Levin and Anna Karenina I'm talking about here. Anna Karenina herself went ahead and let this romantic love go ahead and go over. As I mentioned earlier, because of her love for her son, she went ahead and ended up just staying in this marriage. But then when she met handsome Vronsky, she went ahead and started getting all this passion over her. She found this way to go ahead and escape for freedom and probably even do things like women's right movement, that kind of stuff. But in the end, at the end of the book, and at the end of the day, we learn that this is the worst thing that she could have ever done. Mainly because Anna herself didn't exactly prepare for any of this. At best, she went ahead and did some things for at best she did some things that were incredible and some things that were how should I describe this sinful in the eyes of the Russian people, of course. But we can see why she would want to do this. She feels like she's trapped within this system, and she feels like she's trapped within the system and wants to get freed from this system. And as she gets freed from the system, we go ahead and learn that maybe she isn't exactly the happiest person ever. Maybe she doesn't really enjoy this place as she used to. Maybe she doesn't want to be here, but she's making her choice, and she has to stick by her guns. She has these legal troubles over ownership over her son, and she has all these legal troubles to go ahead and try to get her son, eventually ending up with, you are not allowed to get your son because the male, your husband, has the right to claim a son, and he has more say over this than you. But I gave birth to him. Doesn't matter. It's his choice. Everyone else does that, where she's all like, I give up on life. She becomes depressed. She finally goes down. She even thinks her lover is starting to become one of those people who just are there for duty. And what do we do instead at this point? We go ahead and realize that Anna Karenina herself is on the breaking point of life, even going ahead and ending her own life. Now let's contrast this with what Levin did. Levin's life is more or less like this cat's. My Claude is going ahead and sleeping on the couch all the time. He goes there, sleeps on there, struggles with all this, and wants to become free. But when he finally becomes free and he finally wants stability, he just sticks to his guns. So he does find a very stable house. And when he does find his very stable house, we go ahead and learn that everything is working out. Okay, fine, I'll let you go. Happy? Happy. Levin himself has been courting Kitty for a very long time, and while he was courting Kitty, he went ahead and started realizing some things. He went ahead and went back a bit and started learning about things, started learning about himself, reflecting on his own doubts, and says, I doubt everything, including God, and then becomes, realizes that these doubts are terrible and that he should probably just put his faith on God. The priest himself taught this, that saying, you shouldn't doubt God. Yes, I've seen doubters of God too. Some people might even go into that low point in their life where they go ahead and feel like God doesn't exist. If God did exist, why did he make me miserable? It's all part of his plan, but what the heck? If the plan is to make us suffer, why make us feel like we're suffering? Why put us through all this pain, through all this dislike of things? Why do that? People say it's because God has his own little motives. I say that it's because, Levin says that it's because, he wants us to learn about all this and realize their faith in God, strengthen their faith in God. So that's how it ends. He eventually marries Kitty. She starting to like him too. They go ahead and have a mutual companionship, and they have a nice, great life for the rest of their lives. Having their son being really, really happy, and having a really, really loving son as well too. And having a really successful, having a really big light to look ahead to. Having something that they can look ahead to in their future. That's why you should read Anna Karenina. To go ahead and see all this, to learn about all this, as well as to go ahead and see what 19th century Russia is a lot like. Anna Karenina itself is worth the read if you think about it. It's just very fulfilling, as well as kind of sad. People like reading that stuff. So, that's about it. If you have any questions, read Spark Notes. Until next time, my fellow audience members, Shihana peace. Bye-bye. Ba-ba-ba-ba.